everyone, and welcome to Your Inner Journey Weather Forecast, in which we utilize archetypal astrology to understand the energies in the collective and how they might show up in our psychedelic journeys this week and in other inner explorations. And why would we look at something as far away as the planets to understand something so intimately personal as our exploration of our own psyche through psychedelic journeys and through other spiritual practices? Because inevitably, when we get deep in our inward exploration of our psycho-spiritual structure of being and perception, inevitably, the further we go inside, the more we actually come outside. The further we explore outside, the more it's going to reflect inside. The more we explore inside, the more it's going to reflect outside, until we get to the point where the experience of life and the universe is not that I'm a separate entity, not that I'm a separate body, and my life is what occurs inside this body, inside this mind, and then everything else is random. It becomes to be that the storyline of my life is my life, the people I meet, the situations I end up in. The storyline of my life is my life, and that storyline is embedded in a universe. And that universe is embedded in my awareness. And we're never going to be able to parse these apart. Never going to be able to say like, oh, consciousness is inside my head. The universe is just inert matter. We're never going to say that the universe, that everything's outside and then there's nothing inside. It's just a continuous Mobius strip of exploration. What is experience? What is experience? All the people we meet, it's easy to think that there's a world outside with its own independent judgments that, this thing is wrong, this thing is right, regardless of what I think. But actually, it all comes from inside our own mind, our judgments, and our experience of the world is our experience of meeting ourselves. When something arises in the world, a person, an event, and we have a reaction to it, we're having a reaction to ourself, our own process of perception. And in this way, the universe is a dance with its own self, and that's you. And that is the entry point into the solutions of the problems that plague mankind. Because there's always an enemy outside, there's always some situation that needs to be remedied outside. But actually, if we understand what is life, path will become clear, because what's outside is inside and what's inside is outside. And then at that point, the enemy is, we see it's our reaction to life. And it's something that we, being with ourselves, we can see that what we encounter as life is us encountering ourselves. And then a lot of heart opening opens up, a lot of compassion opens up, and a lot of ability to just be with whatever is and to give compassion to everybody, no matter if they seem like the wickedest to the most innocent. So the royal path of astrology is a path into looking outside the planets, is a path into your own heart. So that's why we look at the planets to understand our own psyches. And that's why we look at the planets to understand the weather of this week, to understand what type of energies might come up, feelings inside ourselves, situations around us, because they're reflected in the movements and the march of the planets, because it's all one reflection. The further we look out, the deeper it reflects in. Okay, so let's look at Archetypal Explorer this week to see what energies are up. And here we are. We've got the week of 23rd to 29th of May, 2021. And the most notable hard alignment that is specific to this week is Venus square Neptune. And that comes in throughout the week and kind of peaks towards the end of the week. And that combination is one in which it can be the most sublime heart opening experience, heart dissolving experience, encountering compassion and valuing compassion, because Venus is the archetype of the heart, what we value, what gives us pleasure, love. And Neptune is the great dissolver, that which dissolves things out into the infinite. So it can be an ability to tap into exactly what I was just talking about dissolving the boundaries of the heart and feeling that sense of compassion for all, absolutely all, regardless of what they've done. And so Venus square Neptune, very powerful transit, not without its pitfalls as well. We want to watch out for Venus is associated with beauty, and Neptune gives things a shine that makes them seem better than ordinary reality. So we can be kind of unrealistically taken in the direction of dazzlement, which is a more superficial manifestation of the same transit, which can actually take us into a deeply compassionate, sweet encounter with the sublime love, divine love. So just be aware of that. So people born with Venus square Neptune are Marie Antoinette. She is known for this quote. She's the last queen of France before the French Revolution. And has this quote she's known for: let them eat cake. When the people are starving, let them eat cake. And so that's a Venus Neptune kind of manifestation of the challenging side of Venus Neptune, of what is valued and what is sweet, which is Venus having an unrealistic, not grounded attachment to reality. The Neptunian makes it kind of sublime and not really applicable to reality. You can't just feed everybody cake. It's that sickeningly sweet kind of shine of pleasurable things that is not grounded in reality. And so Tyler, the Creator, the musician Tyler, the Creator, also born with Venus square Neptune. Let's see what he has to say. He says, I want to make as much money as possible I want to make as much money as I possibly can, so that when my day comes, my mother and sister is fine, my close friends are fine. They don't have to worry about anything ever again. So again, there we see Venus association with love and with what's valuable, and in this instance, money, though it's a little unrealistic, because there's a sense of, these people won't have to worry about anything ever again if I make enough money, which isn't going to happen. Everybody's always got worries, no matter how much money they have. But it also shows the compassionate side of Venus square Neptune. It shows this selfless, the sense of what matters is not self-centered. What is valuable is not based on central self-centeredness. It's got that Neptunian disillusion going on into a spiritual embrace of all. So that's Venus square Neptune. That's the big transit this week, the big heart alignment transit. We also have Uranus square Saturn peaking over the coming weeks. And that's a much larger transit. That's there. It was there last year, be here this year, be here next year, but it's peaking now. And Uranus square Saturn, Saturn square Uranus is a very strong outer planet transit. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it a little bit here, and I'll talk about it more in the future. Saturn constraints, constrictions, tradition, Uranus breaking out of traditions, rebellion. The two are wanting to get into good bedfellows right now. They're trying to figure out a way to kind of snuggle up and find some reconciliation there. And we can see it in the sudden, unexpected break of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the institution that was them, this sense of traditions being shaken up and disrupted by the Uranian rebel energy. And we saw it in Saturday Night Live 2 weeks ago. They showed a great example of it as these two old Muppets who sit in a high booth and watch. And during the Muppet Show over the years, they have these two old men, puppets who sit up in this high booth and watch the show going on down below and criticize it. They're always yelling out these critical jokes and things like that. And they're kind of representative of the Saturnian superego. And in this Uranian flip of the Saturn superego, they get bounced out of the theater because the security staff gets tired of them heckling the performers. So they're about to get thrown out. And so that's kind of the Uranian twist on the Saturnian. The Saturnian is associated with tradition, judgment, that which is certain, that which is old, time-tested. Uranus is the new, the disruptive, the rebellious, but now they are mixed. So it's actually the rules and the Saturnian, the security of the house, of the venue, which is Saturnian, that actually disrupted the Saturnian. They became the rebellious energy that they saw the two old men as being too disruptive, too rebellious. So they came in with the Saturn energy and kicked them out. So we're going to see it like that, a lot of play between Saturn and Uranus. And we're going to see it in our personal lives too. Structure, freedom. So I'm going to continue talking about this as this transit goes on, because we day by day, we're going to reconcile these energies, and there's nothing to do but just to be present with them, because again, they are us, we are them. This is how life wants us to evolve right now. So we'll follow the thread, we'll see the archetypes. There's Saturn, there's Uranus. We'll see how they're combining, recombining, reconciling week by week. Okay, great. So thank you so much for being with me here. May your inner journeys be fruitful, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you so much.